Hey everybody, it's Angela and I'm back with another process video. I am going to use a napkin on this layout, and this is one I got at Tuesday morning, and I just thought the design was so beautiful. And I usually buy a pack of them. I'll keep a few for crafting, and then if I have too many or whatever, then I'll just use them as napkins. So they never go to waste, which is good. And this one I just wanted to try it. I had never done this technique for a scrapbook layout. I've done this for the front of a card and stuff, and it worked really well, so I thought I'd go ahead and try it here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of just tearing roughly around the illustrations just to get rid of the straight lines. And I like that, and then I decide to get rid of some of this interior stuff and kind of tighten that image up. So I'm just removing some of that, and I'm going to kind of collage them together on this layout, and I'm just going to use a glue stick to do it. And I'm going to kind of stick them down kind of crumply so that there's little wrinkles in it and stuff to give a cool texture. And so you can see that's just a normal glue stick, just putting it down where the napkin's going to go and then sticking it down, and like I said, letting the little crinkles and creases and stuff be in there. And now I'm going to put this piece on there, and what's nice is that you can just kind of collage this together. You could use Mod Podge for this instead of glue stick. That works fine too. And I'm just kind of placing it so that you can see those two birds and that there's a lot of those flowers still showing. The hardest part, I think, was tearing the napkin apart because it wants to rip on the grain of the napkin in a straight line, and I wanted it to be kind of rough. So you kind of have to work at it to get, a rougher edge on it. And then I wanted a little more pink on that upper right hand side, so I'm just tearing some more of the flower portion of the napkin out. I'm going to attach that right up there and just put more glue stick. And be aware that when you use the glue stick or the Mod Podge, if you don't Mod Podge the whole page, it is a little shinier over where you've used your glue. So the background will be a little bit matte, and then you'll kind of see a little bit of shininess from where the glue is. So if you don't like that, you could just put a coating of Mod Podge over the whole layout to give it all the same sheen. It didn't bother me, so I left it with it having, the glue over the napkin area and not the rest of the layout. So just so you're aware of that. So I really like how that is, and I'm just going to dry it up, and it's just such a beautiful illustration, and I like the fact that it leaves still a lot of white space showing, but great pops of color and beautiful graphics on there. So this is the picture I'm going to use. It's a picture I got from my cousin of my mom and her mom, and I put it in one of the, I believe it's the Maggie Holmes Bloom frame, I think. And then those chipboard pieces are from a mini Project Life kit. It's the Heidi Swap Gold Foil kit where they have a bunch of chipboard pieces in there. So I just took the word love out, and I looked at some of my thickers to see if I was going to use those as my title, but decided to stay with the chipboard. And then I also have these Martha Stewart gold pieces that were at Tuesday morning here not too long ago, and I saw a lot of people buy them and show haul videos with them, but I haven't actually seen anyone use them yet. So I decided to just kind of clip a few of these little fronds out just to add more gold, and it does have the same kind of shine as the gold on the chipboard pieces and the frame, so that's kind of nice. And so I think these gold pieces were, I think the Martha Stewart product was made for like decoupage. I'm not sure. I didn't really read the packaging too well, but yeah, I just wanted to use them as accents on layouts because it was only 99 cents for that whole package, so that's going to last me a while. And you just kind of clip them out, and then there's a bunch of little attach points where they're all connected when they run it through the machining, I think. And so you just kind of trim those off. And then I also pull out one of the little birds out of there. I don't wind up using him in this layout. He didn't quite fit in. But yeah, you just kind of trim these little little bits off, and it gives you this really nice high shine gold item. They're really pretty. So I'm definitely going to use those 2 fronds. I look through the rest of my chipboard pieces and I'm kind of stuck at this point. You can see I'm thinking about, what else I can include. And I have these jars of Recollections flowers I bought a long time ago, which have turned into more like decoration on a shelf in my scrap room because they're so pretty. But I decided to pull them out because the colors were just perfect for the flowers in this napkin. And they're also nice because they're not, even though they look pretty fluffy and dimensional, they're pretty flat. So they'll go into a page protector without any problem, and still look nice. So I'm just waiting for my glue gun to heat up. It wasn't quite hot enough. So I'm just looking at where I want to position this. I want the nest to still show above the photo. And I want to make sure not to cover up that bird on the left there. So I find out how I want to position it. I'm just going to tack down those 2 gold pieces. So I'm liking that. And I had planned on putting some thread in this, but I went ahead and put my glue too close to the edge on that chipboard piece, so I couldn't get it up to put any thread in later. So yeah, I need to start thinking ahead a little more when I want to use thread to make sure I can still do that. I guess I could have put some under the flowers, but I glued everything down so well it would have been kind of hard to get thread under there. So I just want to put that flower over on the right, and then I'm going to put the love chipboard piece there down at the bottom of the photo frame. So I have this lighter pink one there, and you can see how it kind of presses down pretty flat even though they look fluffy. They're kind of just satin fabric flowers. I don't even know if they sell those jars of flowers anymore, but they were discounted one year and I bought 3 jars, and then I wound up putting them on a shelf in my scrap room and it looks so nice. I've kind of left it as decoration. So I'm glad I'm finally dipping into that stash and getting some of that used up. And then I'm just going to put some foam tape to hold the L and stuff up, since it has to kind of span over that chipboard frame. And then I'm just going to put a little hot glue on the V and the E and adhere that down. And then that flower is going to nestle there kind of at the top of the L. And that little bird's going to kind of poke out from that. And also in the Project Life mini kit, they had these little, in the chipboard pieces, they had these little circles that were also the same color of gold. So I'm going to use those almost like enamel dots or splatter. I'm just going to kind of dot those around just for little touches of gold. And then I get a great idea to add some splatters. And I thought it would be okay because, I put glue over the top of all the napkins, so it kind of is acting almost like a varnish. So I thought it would be a kind of a slick surface with all that glue on there, and that the ink would just sit on top. But it actually kind of messes up and winds up soaking into the napkins, into the napkin material. So you'll see here how I fix that. So I shake up my spray, put it down, and you can see how that one above the bird, that dot, and that dot on the bottom left, you can see how it spreads real fast. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I get a baby wipe because I think, oh, the glue, I can dab that up, but it doesn't work quite right. So I'll show you how I fix that. Really, the dot above that one bird on the upper right's the only one that bothered me. And I thought about covering it up with one of these gold dots, but it didn't look right up there. So I got some acrylic paint and just whited it out and to mask that off, and now I'm putting a little glue and a little piece of the napkin, and you can't even tell that there was a dot there. So and then the other ones, they didn't really bother me too much. They kind of blended in with the flowers and stuff. So that's something to be aware of if you use the napkins, that unless you have, I guess, a good covering of glue or Mod Podge or something, it may still soak into the napkin. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount this because it did curl a little bit. Of course, that'll flatten out once it gets put into a page protector, but I still wanted to mount this on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I just picked a nice bright pinky red that would go with those flowers. And I'm using some score tape just because this is a little heavier paper and it's got all that chipboard and stuff. The score tape will help straighten that out more than just ATG would. So I go ahead and get that mounted on my paper. And I really love how it turned out. With all that beautiful napkin, I didn't want to cover too much of it up with layers and things like that, so I've kept it pretty simple, and yet it still has a beautiful botanical kind of look to it with all those touches of gold and the dimension of the flowers and stuff. So that is all I'm going to do to this layout. And I think about adding a chipboard heart to it. You can see I thought, well, maybe, and then it just didn't quite fit in. So I thought, nope, I'm going to call this done. So here are the close-ups. You can see you can't see that red dot anymore. And the beautiful illustration on the napkin, all the touches of gold from the Martha Stewart pieces and the frames, and just those little dots and the beautiful flowers. So that is my finished layout. If you guys have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.